Welcome in everyone to HogvilleNET YouTube Live in-game and post-game. Back-to-back games now. I've done this. Back-to-back games Arkansas is on the road. And this is an interesting matchup between Arkansas and A&M. There's so many script flippers here when you look at the offensive glass, second chance points, and the hustle plays in the first game that Arkansas won after building a 20-point first half lead, 14 at the break, double-digit leads in the second half. A&M got back in it, took a 1-point lead in the closing seconds, and then Tremont Mark a runner to beat the buzzer, and Arkansas wins by a point. This game's been different. It's been Arkansas, even though the Hogs are not, pretty much getting doubled up on the offensive glass. Second chance points, plus 10 for the Hogs, 12-2 there. This is also a game where when you looked at the first half, both teams shot 14 free throws. The Hogs made 11, A&M only 8. It's been more free throws in the second half for A&M relative to Arkansas. In fact, I don't think the Razorbacks have shot a free throw. But A&M's been poor at the line. They've been in the double bonus with about 12 minutes to go. Taylor is going to be back at the line now as A&M continues to shoot free throws. In fact, the Aggies now are up to, I think they've shot 26 free throws, about to take 27 and 28 as Arkansas's in the double bonus. Only one foul called in the second half on the Aggies. Despite that, Taylor misses the first free throw. He's going to get another one here. Despite that, the Hogs up 48-41. We just had an 8-point lead, 48-40. Arkansas had an 8-point lead in the first half before settling a 4-0 run, closed it, cut that in half to a 4-point lead at halftime. You look at Makai Mitchell, another strong game for him. Taylor hits the second free throw. It's 48-42 Arkansas with 9:50 left. But you look at this game for Arkansas, just a big scrap, especially in the second half. When you look at block shots, it's a stat that Arkansas actually dominated the first time these two teams played, 9-3 back in January. Arkansas's blocking shots, a lot of that's Makai Mitchell. Tremont Mark just banked in a pull-up jumper from 17 feet on the left side, got fouled. Arkansas is up 8 and now has a chance to go up, take its biggest lead. If he knocks down the M1, a 9-point lead with 9:34 left. We'll call it out. So you see Makai Mitchell setting a high screen against the zone. Mitchell goes left using that screen. Help comes. It's been interesting. A&M's played aggressive, has played an aggressive zone at times, trapping out of the zone. And then when Arkansas tries to tilt the floor, play left or right side, you see A&M really trying to get up and the Razorbacks and be physical and use some of their quickness on the perimeter. But Arkansas has handled this throughout the game, done a really good job. One thing A&M has done, only a +1 at halftime in offensive rebounds. In the second half, A&M much better there. But again, the Aggies aren't making free throws, and Arkansas still finding ways to close out possessions. But when a team that leads the nation in offensive rebounds and is so good at attacking the glass, what you have to do when you get a defensive rebound is run. Arkansas hasn't had a lot of that, but in this little stretch, Arkansas got a block shot. Tremont Mark got a defensive rebound. Arkansas ran. He hit Jeremiah Davenport in transition. Arkansas finished there, but fast break points, Arkansas -2, 7-5. You'd like to see against a team that hits the offensive glass so much. First, you got to get the defensive rebound. Then you want to try to run again it because you should have the floor might not be balanced defensively in transition for the Aggies because they send a lot of guys. All right, a catch and shoot three-pointer from Trace Carter. That's a big one. 51-45. So down, Arkansas did take that 9-point lead after Marks made free throw. Three-pointer by Jace Carter, who hit 2 in the first half. He started 2 of 2 in this game. So neither team's been great behind the arc, but one guy's hit 3 now. So keep an eye on that. Davenport with a catch and shoot 3 opportunity, no good. He made his first 3-point attempt early. Was Arkansas's first bucket of the game after he checked in off the bench. Devo picked up 2 quick fouls. And he's not been able to hit another shot from distance since on multiple attempts. Another foul call, Carter driving to the basket on Makai Mitchell here. Just a ton of free throws in the second half now. Again, Arkansas, until Mark shot that N1 free throw, that was Arkansas's first free throw attempt in the second half, 11 of 14 prior to that, all first half. And the Aggies are getting ready to take, looks like their 29th and 30th free throw attempts, if I'm not mistaken. When you go back to the game in Fayetteville, Arkansas took 40 free throw attempts, made over 30, I think 31. The Aggies shot, I think, Arkansas was +8 in free throw makes in that game. So the Aggies made 23, and I think they shot 32 or 33. So Arkansas was plus in both categories. Both teams, again, 14 attempts at halftime, the Hogs were +3 in makes, 11 versus the Aggies 8. And now in the second half, the Aggies have taken another, already 16 free throws with 8:37 to go. Carter makes both, and now it's a 51-47 lead. So Arkansas's lead went from 9, 5-0 run for the Aggies down to 4. And again, the Aggies are living at the free throw in this half. Somehow they've committed A&M's committed only 3 fouls. Battle drives, gets blocked. Makai Mitchell with a putback, he's fouled and he'll shoot a free throw. So, if you're not going to rack up the free throw numbers and only get them one at a time, that is pretty much good news when you're getting one at a time. It means you got an and one and you made a field goal. So Arkansas back up by 6, hard drive by Battle, 10 points at halftime for Caliph. Not a good shooting game for him. He's really struggled in the second half, but get to the basket. That's the game plan. Don't settle for threes. And then you can play off your own offensive glass like Arkansas just did. Makai Mitchell, who's you look at these last 7 games, just monstrous performances from him overall. Only really one bad game in the big loss at home to Tennessee. The rest of them, this guy's come to play. He's probably up. I think he's up to 18 points now. Career high 21 the other night. Another rebound for Makai on a miss. You like to see Arkansas gathering a defensive rebound after the initial shot miss by the Aggies, who have been better on the offensive glass this half. Tyrese Radford, another struggle game for him against the Hogs. Only 2 points. Really good player, 1 of 8 from the field. Mark with the blow by Radford in the lefty finish off the glass. Swooping move by Mark. If he has a second half like he did in Fayetteville, this is advantage Hogs. Wade Taylor with he just missed. Radford with a putback. Taylor missed a 3 driving left. Radford putback. 56-49 Arkansas. The Aggies call a timeout with 7:35 to go. 56-49. So Arkansas was up 9 again after Mark's driving layup by Radford. Radford comes back and scores. What a game for the Hogs. Now the stats are getting away from me a little bit. I wrote most of them down. Arkansas, not a good shooting performance for the Hogs in the 30s, high 30s, maybe getting close to 40 after these last couple of possessions where both Mitchell and Mark scored field goals. But A&M in the 20s, 29% when I came on. And so the Aggies have missed a few since then and have been mostly at the free throw line. They did hit a 3, Chase Carter's 3rd, and then the putback by Radford. But here's a team shooting down in the 20s, right, hovering around 30%, a team that has not shot well from 3 tonight, but did hit its 4th triple. Arkansas has been opportunistic from 3. In fact, the 3 makes, Davenport, I mentioned his first 3 and only 3 was Arkansas's first points of the game. He got that on a second chance opportunity after an offensive rebound. You saw Tremont Mark here in the second half at the end of the shot clock just offset and get to the open spot on the floor for a pass out from blocker. He was kind of pinned on the baseline, and he beat the shot clock buzzer with a pull-up 3. Arkansas had another 3-point make on Blocker's first ever 3 make in his career. He was 0 for 11 coming in back in the first half. Just a rainbow of a shot that went in. That was late shot clock as well. So Arkansas's 3 makes on a night where it's not shooting well from 3, another one of those bad nights shooting from 3. It seems like all 3 of them, were not what you'd expect, not coming from good passes or timely offense or good ball movement, just kind of almost desperation shots at the end of shot clocks. Arkansas's had a lot of possessions in this game where A&M's defense has been good. Arkansas's put up some off-balance shots just to beat the shot clock. And then when Arkansas is able to play with Makai Mitchell through 2-man game, you see a little bit better ball movement. And Mitchell in the scheme in this offense now, 2 games in a row, it's been really good reads. Arkansas will send 3 players on one side of the floor, bring Mitchell out to to limit the help possibilities on defense. So you got 2-man game on one side of the floor, so you have only 2 defenders and on multiple occasions. And you see Makai either pinned down or screen facing down, and then roll the spots. And so with whether it was Tremont Mark or somebody else, L. Ellis battle a couple of times, those guys are making reads and passing off those. And Mitchell's rolled to the basket and had a really good game. Some of these blocked shots in the second half have been really big for the Hogs. Mitchell's rebounding again. Here's a guy that's got a chance to get another double-double. He had, in these last 7 games, he had 2 to start those off against Kentucky and then the win at Mizzou. And he's been in double figures in every game since then, 21-9 the last time, every game except Tennessee. So this is not the Makai Mitchell We never saw him play at this level last year. It was kind of hit and miss with a couple of double doubles maybe and double figure scoring games, but no hit and miss tonight. I see Tennessee, the 5th ranked team in the country, at the top of the SEC, up there at the top and near the standings, struggling at Mizzou tonight, up 55-50. They're showing highlights here, so this is a bit of replay. Oh, now up 11, I guess, with 5.5 minutes to go. So it was kind of tight there coming down the stretch, but Tennessee starting to stretch that out. But Arkansas up 7 coming out of this timeout, a little more than 7 minutes and 30 seconds left. But kind of going through some of the point. Blocker, this is almost by default, folks. If not for the injuries and Jalen Graham being out again, Trevor Brazile, his 7th straight game, Keon Minifield Jr. out, Devo Davis picking up quick fouls in both halves and going, but basically not playing much. It seems like by default, Musman's had to inject Blocker into this lineup. And you give him extended minutes and you start to see his impact defensively, the hustle plays, the deflections. He's a guy that as he continues to learn the game and understand timing, I mean, some of these disruptive plays he made, it's really led to big defensive stops for Arkansas and turning it the other way. He's hit the offensive glass. He's attacking the rim. I mentioned he made a 3-pointer. But here's a guy that's having a big impact in this game. The last stats I checked, he had 5 points, a couple of rebounds, a couple of assists, a couple of steals, and Lord knows how many deflections in this game, and a guy that goes to the floor and battles. Wade Taylor, just an awful night for him so far. 7 minutes left. He just missed a shot. Arkansas defensive rebound going the other way. Battle careless with the ball. Arkansas's bailed out there as Garcia, the guy that had a double-double in the last game, having a decent game here. He's just a hustle stat guy. He gets all over the offensive glass. But Taylor, only 7 points, 2 of 10 field goals. Here's a guy that hung 41 on the Hogs in the last outing when these teams met. This is interesting for Arkansas because if the Razorbacks win, it'll be their second quad 1 win of the season. If it holds, if this lead holds and Arkansas wins, when you're not looking at a postseason in March, Arkansas is nowhere near the bubble. 9 SEC projected teams into the dance as of today. A&M, one of those, as the last 4 bye. So on the bubble, the Aggies are interesting. 6-5 in quad 1 games. That's outstanding. I think that leads the nation, or tied for the most quad 1 wins. But 2-4 coming to this game in quad 3. You think Arkansas's lone quad 1 loss is bad? The Aggies have 4, 2-4. This could be 2-5. Arkansas would have to be 2-0 against the Aggies, sweep the season series, and that would account for half of their conference wins. Tremont Mark, you don't see Arkansas execute a ton on inbounds plays underneath the basket. Arkansas inbounds play, pass into Tremont Mark. He goes up, banks a shot in from about 15 feet on the left side. He's really hit some mid-range shots from the left side here in this half. He's fouled by Garcia. So this will be the 3rd and 1 opportunity in the last few minutes for the Hogs. 2nd for Mark off a mid-range jumper. As Arkansas is kind of slow leaking free throw attempts while the Aggies are racking them up. Mark hits the free throw. The Hogs are now take their biggest lead of this game, 10 points, 59-49 with 6:40 left. This is a good matchup for Arkansas. Obviously, 2 of their very few of their competitive games in league play against the Aggies. At home, again, the Hogs had a couple of 20-point leads in the first half. The big man Washington attempts a 3. Arkansas's defense has just been nasty, especially in the second half as the Aggies search. Hefner gets a second chance 3. Arkansas gets a defensive rebound. All right, so offensive rebounds, Aggies continue to get them, not making Arkansas pay. The lead is 10. The Hogs at 6 minutes. We may see a different approach now offensively. We approach the 5-minute mark. Tremont Mark's got the ball in his hands. ISO play goes left, misses a pull-up J. Short off the rim. Aggies have the defensive rebound. Taylor pushing in transition, gets off balance and throws up a one-handed runner, no good. Second chance, no good. Third chance, no good. Fourth chance coming up for the Aggies. Ball on the floor. Arkansas jumps in there. At least 3 offensive rebounds in there. On the 4th one, it was a loose ball. Arkansas ties it up. Jump ball. Hogs up 10. I mean, this is, if you go back to the game in Fayetteville, Arkansas, the game was so ugly and nobody for the Aggies could shoot or score. And Taylor had to put up a ton of shots to get his 41, but he did get hot. And it made that game interesting. This is another game where Arkansas's just got A&M's number defensively, really keeping the Aggies down to very low field goal percentage. And even though now the discrepancy in the second half on the offensive glass is way beyond that +1 that it was at halftime. Remember, the Hogs were 12-2 on the offensive glass. I mean, in second chance points, despite losing the offensive glass. It's very lopsided in this half on the O glass. Doesn't matter because the Aggies aren't able to convert. So in that sense, it reminded me a lot of that game in Fayetteville. Now Arkansas's got a balanced attack. You've got Mark, approaching his season average as the team's leading scorer. He did not have a good game at Mississippi State. You got Makai Mitchell with another double-digit game. You got Caleb Battle, who struggled in the second half, but 10 big first-half points. And you got Layden Blocker, who's been a big deal in this game, I think, for the Razorbacks. And it's almost one of those situations when you look at Musselman and what he prefers, a tight rotation. He's not been able to do that all year. Nobody's gotten settled into a role. So by default, he's forced to drill down who plays. And you're seeing, I mentioned the names, Makai Mitchell, Caleb Battle, Tremont Mark, Layden Blocker, to some degree, Jeremiah Davenport. He's up to 9 points in this game. Hasn't shot well, but he's blocked a shot. He plays hard. This is a game where he's helping Arkansas, and the 9 points you're going to take. This is another grinder, 59-49, 5:41 to go. A&M gets the possession off the jump ball, so they retain it, and they step out of bounds, so a turnover. This is another area where Arkansas, when I came on, was winning turnovers. It was a narrow margin, 11-10, only +1. But points off turnovers, Arkansas was up +7, 13-6. Arkansas was +10 in points to the paint when I came on, 22-12. Hefner steps out of bounds. So Arkansas survives a possession that effectively was 4 offensive rebounds and 5 looks or opportunities for the Aggies. It's been that kind of game again, similar to Fayetteville in that regard. It is a little bit shocking is that the wider this discrepancy comes in the offensive rebounds and the free throw attempts in the second half, how Arkansas is building on a lead. Arkansas is the more efficient team in this half shooting. Arkansas is executing. Arkansas, when it does get to the line, is capitalizing and just winning possessions. These last 2 games on the road, Mississippi State and A&M, is probably the most competitive basketball we've seen Arkansas have this season away from home. I mean, this is a team top 45th in net. Mississippi State was 35th when Arkansas played there on Saturday. And again, when you look at the arc of now the last 7 games, Arkansas has been competitive in 5. If the Hogs hold on to win here, they'll be 3-2 in those 5. The 2 games they weren't competitive in that 7-game run were blowout losses on the road to LSU by 21 points, at home to Tennessee. We won't forget that one by 29. Looked about as bad as that Auburn loss to start SEC play in early January. The Hogs with possession, 5:26 to go. A&M in a zone. It's kind of a matchup here. Arkansas fumbling the ball a little bit. Makai trying to screen out of that high pick and the zone. Battle drives another off-balance 4-shot, but Davenport with an offensive rebound. He did this late against Mississippi State and kept Arkansas in it. Offensive rebound, Arkansas resets. 2-man game between Mitchell and Mark. Mitchell kicks out to Ellis, who's spinning, off balance, nowhere to go, almost picks up his pivot. Pass to Battle, pull up 3, no good, hits the rim. Davenport battling for the offensive rebound, gets his hand on the ball, but can't get it. A&M secures it. And now the Aggies on offense with under 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes, 45 seconds. Radford driving in. Offensive rebound, Garcia. Putback, foul on Arkansas. So another offensive rebound. This putback is good. The Aggies capitalize here. More second chance points here. It's been very thin and little for the actual second chance points conversion. Garcia, good position there for the offensive rebound. Finishes over his shoulder, gets fouled, and he'll have an and one opportunity. It's an 8-point lead for the Hogs, 4:40 to go. And Garcia's at the foul line for the and one. He converts that. 7-point lead, 4:40 to go. So we know Arkansas likes to stall ball it late in these situations. They've had Mark at the point of attack out high on each one of these possessions. Now they're clearing 3 guys to one side. Again, same offense they run earlier. Still a zone principle. Mitchell out, setting a pick. Rolls shallow, then rolls a little further down. Mark's trapped out high. Nearly a turnover. 7 seconds on the shot clock, though. Arkansas is going to have to get a shot off. Davenport driving. Kicks out to Battle. Nowhere close on that 3-point attempt. This guy is struggling in the second half. He cannot knock down a shot after having a good first half. But he did go. I think he started 3 of 6. He made all 4 of his free throws. But on the offensive rebound attempt, Jace Carter fouls out. Now here's guy's got 14 points. He's got several threes. I think I mentioned 3 off battles miss. He fouls Mekhi Mitchell trying to secure a defensive rebound. It's on the floor. That's the 7th foul on the Aggies, so it'll be 1-1. This is big because remember, Arkansas just had a 10-point lead. Garcia gets the and 1 conversion on the other end, and now it's down to 7. Arkansas's got to manufacture points at this end. The Hogs cannot freeze themselves out on the offensive end. That was a bad possession that worked out in terms of getting an opportunity here. Now Mitchell's got to step up at this foul line. He's been pretty good for the Hogs. Looking back at these last 7 games, again, a high percentage for him. At one point was over 80%. This is a guy in his career that hasn't been close to that. So we'll see what he's able to do. But 18 points tonight. I don't know how many rebounds. It's probably 7 or so, or maybe more. Anyone that's looking at the stats. Thanks again for joining me on HogvilleNET YouTube Live. Now in game and will be evolve into a post game. Mitchell at the line, 4:11 left, hits the front end. Another free throw coming. Arkansas's up 8, 60-52. So that's big. Mekhi Mitchell's been huge. Arkansas really, if the Hogs could have finished, took a 2-point lead. With a minute to go against Mississippi State, was outscored 6-0 in the last minute. Arkansas is really close to having back-to-back road wins and back-to-back quad 1 wins. In a season like this, you like to see. But again, I was talking earlier, it seems like by default, Musselman's been forced. Mitchell made both free throws, by the way, 61-52. Radford drives all the way, uncontested layup. 4 minutes to go, Arkansas's lead down to 7 again, 61-54. But it seems by default, Musselman's been forced into a tight rotation. And he's not been able to do that all year. And maybe some of these guys are benefiting from being in the game. 2-man game again with Mitchell and Mekhi. Mekhi didn't have a finish, so he kicked it opposite side. Battle drives, Ellis drives. There's just no easy shots for these guys. Davenport catch and shoot 3 attempt, no good. Mitchell goes for the offensive rebound, gets a hand on it, but can't secure it, and A&M with it. Wade Taylor's dribbling. Radford again on a drive. Reverse layup. He hits that. So back-to-back driving shots for Radford, who struggled against the Hogs this year. He's getting things going a little bit here. 61-56 Arkansas, down to 5. The 10-point lead's down to 5. 3:10 to go. Now Ellis is point of attack. Mitchell's coming up on the left. There's a double screen with Davenport on the right. Good drive by Ellis. Feed to Mitchell. Oh, Mitchell misses the initial shot. Had a chance for a putback and missed that. A&M with the defensive rebound going the other way, down 5. Reach in foul on Wade Taylor, who makes an off-balance shot off the glass. It's going to be an and 1, 61-58. Arkansas up by 3 with Wade Taylor, the 4th, who struggled this entire game, having a chance now with 2:44 to play to cut it to a 2-point advantage. It's probably a good call there. The Razorbacks once again find themselves on the road with a chance to win. Another game against A&M where they technically had a double-digit lead. They've been up 10 a couple of times here. Late in this game, the Hogs were just up 9, and the Aggies now got a chance to cut it to 2. This reminds me a little bit of the finish in Fayetteville because A&M came all the way back. Arkansas never held a 20-point lead or had double-digit leads most of the game, but you had a double-digit lead here late, and the Aggies are back in it now with a chance. Now they're within 1 possession, a chance to go from 3 to 2 when we come out of the timeout, when Taylor's at the free throw line. And that signals another, here we go to the wire again. Arkansas just not clutch in these last few possessions. And you're seeing when Mitchell's not able to get, around the basket or Mark's offense here, really in the second half, we haven't seen Layden Blocker. We have not seen Layden Blocker here down the stretch. We're seeing a steady diet of Ellis. No Devo either. He's been out for a while. But we're seeing a steady diet of Ellis, Battle, and Jeremiah Davenport. And when those guys are taking shots, they're not making them. They're just really struggling right now. The offense has really here lately been Mark and Mekhi. So Arkansas is going to have to find a way to try to cross this finish line first. It won't be easy. A&M's got a surge here and a little run going. I think it was 61-52. Now it's 61-58. So a 6-0 run here, and a free throw to make it 7-0. And then it would be a 2-point game with Arkansas taking possession on offense. But we'll see if he makes the free throw or not. It's been a struggle night for the Aggies at the line. Looks like Tennessee's going to win at Missouri. I see a score on the crawl here on ESPN, 70-62 with a minute to go. So the Volunteers on the road. We know Arkansas only won by 7 at Missouri after leading by 23 in the second half. The Hogs, by the way, will be back home on Saturday after this 2-game road swing and will host the Tigers. If Arkansas is going to string together back-to-back wins for the first time in league play this year, they probably need to go ahead and knock out a win here on the road, and obviously the Hogs should be favored against Mizzou at home. And this is an Arkansas team again. The history's on the table. If a loss tonight, and Arkansas locks up a second consecutive season of losing records in the SEC. And so there's only 5 more games to go after this one. And the Arkansas would also be 2 games below 500 if the Hogs lose tonight, 12-14. So, moving closer to a losing overall record on a final record for the regular season as well. The Hogs at that point, after tonight, if they lose, would only be 2 losses away in the last 5 games. You've still got road games at Kentucky and at Alabama. I mentioned Mizzou at home on Saturday. Arkansas will also have home games against LSU and Vanderbilt upcoming. I think Vanderbilt before. LSU will be sandwiched in between those last 2 road games against Kentucky and then Alabama. But the Hogs, this is going to be a heavy lift to finish this one now. Not much breathing room left when it's only 1 possession margin here either way. But Arkansas's got the lead. We'll see what Taylor does here at the free throw line. However, if Arkansas wins tonight, Arkansas at least is another game, still playing for at least a chance to be 500 in league play and finish its season above 500 overall. That's what a win would mean. So Taylor at the line, misses the free throw, offensive rebound on a kick out by A&M, 3-pointer by Radford, no good. Arkansas survives that possession, defensive rebound. Mark is bringing it up across the timeline with 2:33 left. Let's see if the Hogs can generate any good offense. It's Mark, point of attack again. We've got a double screen show between Davenport and Mitchell up high. Mitchell bails and goes baseline, flattens out down there. Mark pull up 3. Booyah, and he is fouled. That's an old school way of saying that shit's good. 64-58 Arkansas with 2:18 to play. And Tremont Mark, who was the hero, the mano-a-mano hero in Fayetteville when these teams met, had that big second half, 35-point total. Knocks down a 3 off the bounce in an ISO situation, foul called on A&M. And again, it's one of those situations where Arkansas hasn't shot nearly as many free throws in this half as A&M. But Arkansas, when it's got to the line, it's been multiple. I think this is the 4th time the Hogs will shoot an A&M free throw in this half. That's where, when you look at the volume, it's not going to be a lot. But part of the story is Arkansas, when they've made some shots here and gotten fouled, they've gotten N1 opportunities. And I believe Arkansas has made the free throw on each one. I don't want to jinx this. Up 6 with 2:18 left. Mark hits the N1. Hogs up 65-58. Man, these last 2, the N1 that Taylor did not convert, offensive rebound, A&M misses a 3, and then Mark converts his N1, and now Arkansas is up 7. Just like that. Radford with another drive. He misses this time. There's bodies on the floor underneath the basket. Davenport was down for a little bit. Arkansas's got the rebound. Crosses half court. Flop by A&M. No call. Did a lot of flopping in that game in Fayetteville, and there weren't a lot of calls. They're coached to do that. That's pretty obvious. So no call there. That was good. No call. Flop. Mark playing one-on-one ISO. Step up and under on the step through with his pivot miss. Layden blocker in the game. Offensive rebound. Tough guy. This is how you win games. This is how you do it. Now we've got officials I guess the officials want to look at the shot clock because they're blown a whistle, dead ball now, and they want to review. So let's see where the shot clock was. If the ball hit the rim, it's hard to tell from the angle that they're showing on the replay, but it looks like the ball maybe did hit the rim just barely. It's hard to tell. It may not have. It may have just. It's hard to tell. It looks like, well, I'm not sure. I can't tell if the rim's moving slightly or not. I can't tell, but there were 5 seconds left when Blocker, 4 or 5 seconds left on the shot clock when Blocker gets the offensive rebound. So the shot clock operator reset the shot clock where it's supposed to go at this stage after an offensive rebound. But I think they're going to review it and determine whether or not it should have been. So we'll see. If not, I would think they'd give Arkansas at least 4 seconds on the shot clock. Or we'll see if they do say it should have been reset and what the ruling is. So they've got 18 seconds showing. Now they're changing it to 16. So they're acknowledging that it should have been reset, but they halted Arkansas's possession and took 2 more seconds off the shot clock. Either way, Arkansas's got time here on the inbounds play to generate some offense and not be in a hurry. You want to get a good shot here. You're up 7. I'm not going to say that a made field goal or free throws here ends the game or puts it too far out of reach, especially with this Arkansas team as enigmatic as it is and how it can have some really bad stretches. But Arkansas's been, dare I say, mostly in control in these final 10 minutes. Wow. Okay, so Mark, inbounds play, Wade Taylor forward, trips Mark. He's going to go to the free throw line. Arkansas, I think it was only the 9th foul on A&M, so 1 foul away from the double bonus means Mark's got to hit the front end to get, he's not getting 2 free throws here unless he makes the first one, put it that way. So you don't want to come up empty. These are situations where we've seen Arkansas have problems all season long. Maybe here it's different, but a 7-point lead with 1:39 left. A&M, this would be the 3rd consecutive loss for the Aggies. Prior to that, A&M, I think, had won 5 of 6, but 2 of those wins blew out Tennessee at home by 16, beat a good surging Florida team at home. I think that was only by a point, but still a win over a ranked team now and a NCAA projected tournament team. So the Aggies are just, like I said, 6-5 in quad one of the best win marks in quad one. Mark hits the first free throw, Hogs up 8 with 1:39 left. But only 2-4 in quad 3 games and about to go 2-5 if Arkansas finishes this. 67-58. The Razorbacks lead with 1:39 left. These last 2 games on the road have got to be encouraging, and we're seeing a guy like Mekhi Mitchell. Hefner hits a corner 3 immediately on the ensuing possession for the Aggies, 67-61. 1:33 left. The Aggies call a timeout. So this one's not over. Arkansas is going to have to, this is a situation now where you're up 2 possessions only. That was a big 3 because you were up 3 possessions. If Arkansas got a defensive rebound there on a miss, they didn't have to take shots anymore. They didn't necessarily. They could really work clock and then even take a bad shot if they could get to the end of a 30-second shot clock. That 3 changes it to a 2-possession game, and you've got 1:33 left. It's just too much time to. Arkansas is not going to be in a hurry to get a shot, but I think they still need to work good offense for a shot and not just settle. They've done a pretty good job of that here. When A&M's done a good job of stopping either Mark or Mitchell, the other guys on the floor have really struggled for the Hogs. In fact, I think those are the only 2 guys that have really been scoring of late. You haven't seen Battle, Ellis, or Davenport, and then now Blocker was in the game. We'll see out of this timeout who Arkansas puts on the floor. Going to get a little swig here. 33-54 in. I don't know how many people are on with me tonight. It was an early start though, so we won't be on as late as we typically are tonight. As we try to get through this one. Full court pressure. Arkansas inbounding the ball underneath A&M's basket. Looks like L. Ellis is the trigger man. Pass into Battle, who's trapped immediately. Good pass. Jumped up, rose up, passed to Mark. Now Arkansas's Mark with the finger roll. Be aggressive. Go get buckets. That's right. Too soon to pull it out. If they trap, make them pay. Arkansas was at a numbers advantage. Mark went all the way in for a layup. He's going to have another big game. Mark, just unnecessary foul, reaching in on Wade Taylor 30 feet from the basket. He was going nowhere. Mark with a really good job of reading that full court defense and getting to the basket. I like that. Taylor at the line now with 2 free throws. rattled the first one in. I mean, it bounced up and off the rim 2 or 3 times and finally fell through. 69-62, a minute 15 left. The lead's back down to 7. If he makes this free throw, it's back to a 2-possession game and still a minute 15 left. Made them both. 2-possession game, 69-63. Bad foul by the Hogs. So we'll see now how Arkansas is able to finish this. This again will be a situation where you can, you hope it doesn't turn into what it did in Fayetteville back in January, where somehow A&M managed to, after trailing by 20, almost to still on the inbounds pass. Again, Battle going to the corner, trap, not a clean pass. Ball was deflected. A&M couldn't save it in, stepped on the out of bounds line. So almost trouble there. Only 1 second off the clock, a minute 14. Should be it should be less time than that because they've got the shot clock at 28 seconds. So if 2 seconds came off the shot clock, that means there should be 2 seconds off the game clock because it was a minute 15 coming into this play. It's only down to 1:14. So let's see what they do. He stepped out of bounds. That might be a review to see if his foot was on the line. It was. That was Radford. He's definitely out of bounds. On the deflection or on the steal, I guess you could have called it if he had been in bounds. They're checking that to see. But either way, if they're going to take 1 second off the game clock, there should only be 1 second off the shot clock. Right now, they only took 1 second off the game clock, but 2 off the shot clock. It may sound trivial, but it's nonetheless very interesting. Again, I'm fascinated by how well Arkansas has done in second chance points in this game, and going to get a win in that department. I think because when I came on with about 10 minutes to go, Arkansas was plus 10 there, and the Aggies weren't doing that great even when they did get offensive rebounds. So Arkansas is going to win second chance points despite being clobbered on the offensive glass. Arkansas A&M end up shooting a lot more free throws, I'm sure. When the dust settles, both teams had 14 attempts at halftime. But the Aggies weren't great at the line. Arkansas made its free throws, especially in the second half when you're really just getting and one opportunities, and the Hogs are making those. Another inbounds play for Arkansas, minute 14 left, 28 seconds on the shot clock. Battle trapped immediately and then fouled. They called a foul. He's knocked to the floor. This is where Battle, as poorly as he shot in the field in this game, really in the second half, after starting 3 of 6, he was 4-4 at the foul line in the first half. Arkansas needs him to step up and knock down free throws here. Only up 6 with a minute 12 left. 69-63. So A&M's done a great job of extending this game, by the way. Kudos to the Aggies for playing this right because not a lot of clock has come off. And we've had several possessions both ways. Battle hits the first, nothing but net. Confident. Arkansas 70-63. Arkansas's 20 of 23 at the foul line. The Aggies are 22 of 34. So the Hogs minus 11 in attempts, but only minus 2 in makes. So the Hogs, when Battle takes this next free throw, will be still minus 10 in attempts. But if he makes it, let's see, I'll call it after he shoots it. Misses the second free throw. So Arkansas now up 70-63. Radford drives in, misses a layup. Arkansas gets the loose ball rebound. Ellis in transition. In the NBA, that would be a take foul. That'd be a transition take foul. Arkansas would get free throws in the ball. In the college, it doesn't work that way. So he gets fouled. Ellis, who's been a good free throw shooter this year. Wade Taylor fouls out with 11 points. 30 below what he scored against the Hogs in Fayetteville in that barn burner. Arkansas's up 7 with a minute to go. Ellis will be at the foul line. So again, Arkansas, I guess 20 of 24 at the foul line. That's huge, especially when the other team has 10 more free throw attempts than you. I don't know if they're going to review. I don't know if they can review that. They showed a replay of Ellis getting tripped. I couldn't tell for sure what happened there, but that's the call. So Taylor's out. Someone else will have to be hero tonight for the Aggies. This is a quad 1 win for Arkansas if they hold on. There's not a postseason resume, but 2-8 in quad one. You break even again on the season at 13-13. 4-9 in league play. Half your wins would be against Aggies. Ellis misses the front end of the 1-1. So the door's definitely open. You're still a 3-possession lead, though. It's better than 2. The key here is just not to foul. Ellis rattles in the second one. 1 of 2 there. Arkansas now 21 of 26 at the foul line. 71-63, 8-point lead, 2-possession game with just under a minute to go. Radford's dribbling up, goes to the basket, got bailed out. That was a weak-looking foul call right there. Again, Arkansas, you want to defend, but, guys driving in, you might just let him go. A&M's not been great at the free throw line, so there's that strategy as well. If you foul, maybe they only convert 1, or maybe they don't make either. A&M's had several possessions tonight. I think Coleman was one of them. The big man who did not play against the Hogs in the first game. Radford hits the first. That was his first free throw attempt on the night. 69% free throw shooter. 71-64. Second free throw upcoming. He's had another bad game, but here down the stretch, he did get to the basket and scored some. Made both free throws. 71-65, but back to a 2-possession game. 54 seconds to go. It seems like this one will never end. In fact, we're 41 minutes. So I came on with 10 minutes to play in this game. So just the last 10 minutes of game action on the court. Well, 9 minutes, because we got 54 seconds left. 41 plus minutes of time. I've got a timer here on this YouTube Live. Inbounds to Mitchell. Mitchell's fouled immediately. 52.2 seconds. And so Arkansas will be back at the foul line. So the Aggies are not even, if they're not getting a steal on the initial inbound, they're fouling. They're not trying to play. Let's see if Arkansas will turn it over, have a mishap, trying to advance out of the trap. They're fouling. I mean, I think maybe once or twice since they started doing this, Arkansas was able to beat it before the foul. Mitchell hits the first of 2 free throws. Big time free throw shooting for Makai Mitchell continues in this game. Another big game for Makai Mitchell. Man, this guy's just been something else in these last 7 for the most part. I mean, we haven't seen this version of him ever until lately. Makes both free throws. Arkansas up 8 again. 2-possession lead with 52.2 seconds. Aggies on the inbound. Radford comes up. Let's see if they start shooting threes. No, going into the basket. Arkansas reaches in. Deflection. Soft defense. Deflection. Radford gets the offensive rebound, and Jeremiah Davenport reaches and fouls him and it'll be an and one. This is just, again, you reach in to tie it up, get a loose ball. He gets it. Radford. And Davenport should just let it go. Instead, he reaches over the shoulder. Foul. It's going to be an and one opportunity for Radford, who's having, I guess, kind of picked up the slack here late where it was Taylor last time. He's up to 12 points. He's made both free throws. I mean, most of that damage has been down the stretch here. Missed the free throw. The Aggies deflect the ball. Garcia out of bounds off the Hogs. Now they're going to review it. 6-point lead, still down to a 2-possession game, and the Aggies presumably get possession. I'm telling you, the Aggies are playing the clock right, making sure they extend this game out. And Arkansas is so enigmatic. You just can't count on Arkansas necessarily closing the right way. So it's hard to tell. To me, it looks like it could be off the Aggies. I think, it looks like it's hard to tell from these angles. It's hard to tell if it's off Washington, Mitchell, or Davenport. There's a lot of hands. It's probably off either Mitchell or Washington for the Aggies. Makai or Washington from that angle. It's not a clean enough angle maybe to overturn it, but to me, it almost looks like the trajectory of the ball changes just a little bit, which makes me think it's the last touch by an Aggie. but we'll see what the call is. The ruling on the court was A&M's ball. 45 minutes in this game. Again, I came on with 10 minutes to play. Changed to Arkansas. Okay, I finally got it right. I was having a hard time. And the last thing I said was I thought it looked like the trajectory changed and it looked like it was off an Aggie. I guess the officials agreed. It's Arkansas's basketball. 44.6 seconds left. The Hogs maintaining that 6-point lead. 2-possession game, 73-67. You don't have to shoot here. The Aggies are going to press and probably foul and try to extend this game even more. That's the game the Aggies are playing here. We're honestly looking at this point, we're approaching maybe an hour worth of actual clock for the final 10 minutes of a basketball game. That happens sometimes. All right, trap, Mark. No foul call. He struggled to get it out, but he does. Arkansas brings it into the front court. Foul on Battle. Battle's fouled. So he only was 1 of 2 at the line the last time he went up a few seconds ago. He was 4-4 in the first half, so 5 of 6 for the game. And he's going to get 2 more here with the Hogs up 73-67. Arkansas inbound to that same corner to Mark. Trapped. They didn't foul immediately. Mark survived that trap and got it out. Battle hits the first free throw. Arkansas up 7. Now a 3-possession lead with 34.5 seconds left. We're probably going to be talking about a Razorback victory tonight, folks. I mean, this is a hell of a battle for the Razorbacks. A hell of a battle. Start to finish. I mean, Arkansas hung in there. This was really never a game where A&M was way up or something happened and just collapsed. Arkansas has just been Hefner hits a corner 3, 75-70 with 29 seconds left. This team won't go away. Arkansas inbounds, gets it past midcourt, fouled. Mark will go to the foul line. But the Aggies won't go away. This is so much like Fayetteville, where the Aggies just wouldn't go away, and finally figured out a way to take a lead with 7 seconds left. The Hogs needed that game winner by Mark basically at the buzzer with about a second left. We're not there yet. It's still 24.7 seconds left. We're back to a 2-possession game. Hefner's hit 2 threes down the stretch here to flip a 3-possession advantage for the Hogs to 2. Now it's 5, so Mark will have 2 free throws coming. But again, what's at stake here? Well, Arkansas could get back to 500. Nobody cares about that really. You've swept the Aggies if you do that. It's a quad 1 win, the second of the season. It means in the last 7 games, after being blown out so much this year in league play, in the last 7 games, Arkansas has been competitive in 5 with a 3-2 record in those. 2 road wins in those. There are only 2 road wins of the year. Yeah, there were a couple of blowouts outside of those 5-game results in those 5 games, but it shows some needle-moving improvement. Arkansas's played a lot of games without Devo Davis since he's been back. Tonight, we barely seen him. He's in foul trouble, not much impact. They've been without Trevor and Brazil in these last 7 games. Mark misses the front end of the 1-and-1. 75-70 with 24.7 seconds left. So, you want to see the Razorbacks close this out with a dub. Made the second, 1 of 2 at the line, 76-70, still a 2-possession game. That first miss was pretty big. A&M inbounds the ball. See if there's another 3 coming up for Hefner. Drive all the way in. And another foul call on the Hogs. This time it's Ellis. 19 seconds left. Manny Obaseki, who we haven't seen much tonight, if at all. I don't know if this is his first action. But he drove in and woo! There was a little bit of contact there from Ellis's shoulder on the initial move with the elbow coming. That's a bad call. That's just a bailout. Aggies are at the line. Missed the first free throw. We'll have another one upcoming. Still a 6-point lead with 19 seconds left. The Aggies are about to run out of clock. Speaking of clock, 50 minutes of time, actual time here for the last 10 minutes of this game. This is insane. Aggies have done a great job. 24 of 38 at the line. Arkansas 26 of 32. Arkansas starting to close the gap on the attempts only because the Aggies have had to foul to stop the clock. The refs have been really willing to put Aggies on the free throw line, whether by virtue of by merit or not in the second half. Shot a lot of free throws. Inbounds pass, Mitchell throws ahead to Mark. Mark crosses the timeline. Hogs up 5. 13 seconds left. Battles dribbling, finally fouled with 10.3 seconds left. That's the worst job by the Aggies in these final 3 minutes slash 30 minutes of real time. That the worst job they've done is stopping the clock. Let a lot of time come off. In fact, almost half the clock is. I think the Aggies were shooting free throws with 19 seconds left, and now it's down to 10. So not a good job there. 5-point game. Battle at the free throw line again. 7 of 8 at the line. Hits the first, 8 of 9. He's about, he hits that 6-point game, 2-possession lead. If he hits this, it's over. And Arkansas's just got to stop fouling. No more fouls. Let him score. Let him hit a 3. Let him punt it in. Let him reverse dunk it. Stay away from him. Get away. But he's got to make this free throw. There's still enough time with 10 seconds left with a quick score in a 2-possession game. Battle makes the second free throw. 3-possession game. Hogs just get out of the way. This game's over. 78-71. 10 seconds to go. Hefner's got it. Another 3 attempt. Missed that one. Offensive rebound. Game ends without the Aggies getting another shot attempt up. 78-71. The Arkansas Razorbacks have defeated Texas A&M for the second time this season. Season sweep for the Hogs. Arkansas had not won in College Station since the 18-19 season. That was Mike Anderson's final year as head coach of the Razorbacks. It's Arkansas' second win against a quad one opponent on the season. We know that the Hogs have that earlier quad one win at home against Duke in the first ever ACC-SEC Challenge. Seems like a million years ago. The Blue Devils were ranked 7th then. The Blue Devils are 8th now. They're coming on. They've been a strong team this season. So Arkansas has really done a good job now of picking up that second quad win months later. But you did it on the road, so it's your first quad one win on the road. Welcome to HogvilleNET YouTube Live post-game analysis. We were almost 52 minutes of actual clock, of actual time to close out the final 10 minutes of the game, which is when I came on here. Now we're doing a post-game. A lot of fans have tuned away from this team this season. But if you look at these last 2 games on the road, Arkansas gave itself a chance to win at Mississippi State. The Hogs pick up their second road win of the season. I mentioned second quad one win of the season. I mentioned first road quad one win of the season. And the Hogs are back to 500, 13-13 overall, 4-9 in SEC play. There are 5 games to go, 2 on the road, 3 at home. Arkansas will have back-to-back home games against Mizzou on Saturday, then Vanderbilt midweek next week. Then you're on the road at Kentucky and Rupp Arena. Then you're back home for LSU. The Tigers beat Arkansas by 21 plus in Baton Rouge not that long ago. And then the Hogs close out at Alabama. Another one of those seasons where Arkansas is playing at Alabama. It was like that forever against Tennessee. The Tide are top of the conference again. But Arkansas, with 5 to go, is still only 1 loss away from having a second consecutive season of SEC losing record, and would be the 3rd in 5 years under Muss, because we know the Hogs went 7-11 in year 1. But they live to fight another day and potentially not have that happen. If you win out, you finish 9-9 in league play, and you would certainly have a winning record overall. Arkansas, again, with these 5 games to go, the Hogs need only 3 more wins. That sounds weird to talk about this. The Hogs need 3 of the 5, and 3 of them are at home. I mentioned who they are. Winnable games. The Hogs avoid a losing record in this season. It'd be the first ever under Eric Musselman in his career as a Division I head coach in his 9th season. So Arkansas can avoid that by winning. It's just its home games. But the Hogs need to win out to avoid another losing record in league play. Again, we're not talking about March Madness for the Razorbacks. But we did talk about in our last postgame Arkansas potentially playing spoiler. This is trouble for an Aggies team that's got a great resume in the quad ones and now 2-5 in quad 3. And the Hogs have swept the Aggies this year. It's ranked 45th in net. Again, top 75 win on the road in net. The Aggies should maintain at least top 75 no matter how bad things get. But this is this is another 3rd consecutive loss for A&M. A loss to Vanderbilt, by the way, on the road. The Aggies then got destroyed at Alabama, also on the road. So back at home, A&M was hoping to get well. Arkansas spoils that. Arkansas is playing spoiler right now. Another quad 3 loss. And look, if the Hogs can finish out with a winning record, go 3-2 in these last 5 games, or 4-1, you've salvaged your season in terms of it not completely imploding. You're not going to the NCAA tournament again without a major run through the SEC tournament and winning the automatic bid, which means winning the SEC tournament title. Arkansas also at this point now is got a fighting chance to pull itself maybe into, if Arkansas can get out of the bottom 11 through 14 and somehow finish 10th, the Hogs would avoid having to play that, that first round game and then have, if you win that, you still got to win 4. Arkansas could potentially get to the Thursday round of 12 or whatever it is at that point. What everybody's saying, it's kind of pointless to talk about these things. I don't think so. This is a great win for Arkansas. We can laugh about A&M being 15-11. Here's a team. What's interesting too is both of these teams were picked to finish in the top 3 in the SEC in preseason. It was Tennessee, A&M, and Arkansas. Wade Taylor IV was a pick for Player of the Year in the league. Arkansas had 2 first-team All-SEC, or 2 All-SEC preseason picks, 1 first-team in Trevor Brazile, the other one Devo Davis. Those guys have been non-factors, missed a lot of games, but have not been at their best, haven't even been close. And it seems like Arkansas's improvement here this late in the season has been about other guys and not their preseason all league guys. It's just a fact. But A&M now 15-11, 6-7 in league play. Again, great quad 1 record, horrible quad 3 record. I mean, think about it, 2-5 in quad 3. Arkansas has only 1 quad 3 loss, but the Hogs were 1-8 coming into this game in quad 1. Now 2-8. The Hogs had a quad, still have a quad 2 win at home. That's the Aggies. I think Georgia's a quad 3 result. The Hogs, Stanford, anytime Stanford moves back into the top 100 in net, they've been back and forth on that border of top 100. Now they're on the wrong side of it when I checked earlier today, but when they're inside the top 100 or dangling right there at 100, it's a quad 2 win for Arkansas. Stanford back in the Bahamas. As it is now, it's a quad 3 result. This isn't an NCAA tournament resume. It's never going to get there. Again, Arkansas, win out or not, regular season, Arkansas is going to have to win the SEC tournament for an automatic bid. Is there a pathway for that? Arkansas is playing better, but we know Arkansas is still prone to getting blown out. There's been too many historic losses, and that home loss against Tennessee is not that long ago. Although these last 2 road games, I'd call these, both Mississippi State and A&M were projected in the dance. Lenardi has 9 teams in, including those 2, but they're both bubblicious. And Arkansas has been competitive and shorthanded. We've seen no Jalen Graham. A lot of folks are split on what his contributions are. He's been a guy that can score. He's been one of Arkansas's more dependable scorers, not in great volume, but double digits for much of league play. But he doesn't give you a ton of rebounds, and he really is not a guy that defensively. If you watch it over and over again, there's a lot of lapses there. That was the true of Trevor Brazile before he's been out these last 7 games. I've said the last post game, I'll say it again. I don't think we're going to see Trevor Brazile again. But Arkansas has been better. I mean, Mekhi Mitchell, I don't have his final stats. If someone wants to bring him into the comments and tell me what he did tonight, but here's another 20. He had a 21 and 9 in the previous game, another 20 plus, and hitting the glass, blocking shots. This guy has been more with less. I mean, you start taking away minutes and removing other guys from the equation. This guy's stepping up. He's been a guy, people ask, why isn't he starting? Why is he not starting games? Why is he still playing off the bench in the second half? He's a guy, number one, that's prone to get in foul trouble. And secondly, I think maybe he handles the flow of the game better by sitting and watching a little bit. But you also keep his foul numbers down. But he's done a great job. I mean, he's been, these last 7 games outside of the Tennessee result, he's been outstanding and arguably Arkansas's best player. Tremont Mark struggled against Mississippi State, had a great second half here. Not a great first half, great second half. Caleb Battle had a strong first half. Did not have a good second half shooting the ball, but he did make some free throws late. And then I would say Layden Blocker was a huge, he and Jeremiah Davenport, for some of the things, I think Davenport finished with 9, did some other stuff. Layden Blocker, his energy, his toughness, his resolve, his deflections, his disruption, and he does it a little bit of everything everywhere. Now he's still a work in progress, still makes mistakes. I've said for weeks, especially with the direction of the season, he's a guy I would ride with. I'd put him in the lineup. I'd give him extended minutes. I'd ride with this guy. It was by default tonight. By default, Menifield's out, Devo's in foul trouble, doesn't play, and Blocker gets his turn. And forced to leave him on the court. Blocker did good things, and I'm going to point at Musselman on this. I've said it. I think Blocker should be a guy that's getting significant run much longer than much more consistently than he's gotten. And he's a guy that's going to make mistakes. You got to let him play through it and learn. Musselman doesn't always do that with freshmen. But tonight, like I said, his hand was forced a little bit. I thought Blocker did a great job of helping this team. I don't have final stats in front of me. I know Arkansas closed the free throw gap. Both teams shot 14 in the first half. Arkansas was 11 of 14. The Aggies only 8 of 14. The Aggies were in the 30s in attempts. Arkansas was still middling in around 20. So most of the second half, it was the Aggies getting more at the free throw line and then starting to dominate that offensive glass in the final 20 minutes. But Arkansas had enough of a cushion, plus 10 at one point at least, on second chance points that I think Arkansas probably ended up winning the second chance points battle. If not, it was close because the Aggies seemed like they lived on the offensive glass there in that second half. This is the best offensive rebounding team there is. Arkansas was also well up in the turnovers in terms of points off turnovers, pretty close in the actual turnovers between the teams, but points off turnovers. So when you go on the road in Arkansas, when I came on with 10 minutes to play, the Hogs were up 22-12 in points in the paint. I don't know where that ended up because the A&M got a lot in the paint late in the game, and as things kind of moved on, the Aggies ended up making, probably doubling the Hogs up in three-pointers made in this game. Arkansas got a multitude of blocks. Arkansas was leading in the bench scoring, probably won that. And I'm interested to see where the assist numbers are because Arkansas, when I came on with about 10 minutes ago, had 10. And so they did a fairly decent job of getting some helpers on some made shots tonight. Actually, a couple of plays stand out to me. One of them was an inbounds play underneath the Razorbacks' own basket where Mark immediately got a clean look, banked in a mid-range shot, and got fouled on that, got an and one. We don't always see a lot of easy scores for Arkansas. We also saw Arkansas score in transition when Mark got a defensive rebound, pushed it, got it to Davenport, and he finished. Not a ton of easy shots, but Arkansas got a few. Again, I mentioned Mekhi Mitchell. Tremont Mark was 20-plus points tonight. So you had two guys really step up offensively with Bell and Davenport and Blocker filling in gaps. So you had a tight rotation when you consider Ellis was another guy that was on the court. And, Chandler Lawson, we saw him help Arkansas in that first half. So he was more of a factor. He did start the second half, then gave way to Mitchell, and it was mostly Mitchell in the second half after that. So we did see Chandler Lawson pitch in with some help. I saw him block shots, get a couple of deflections, get maybe corral some rebounds in there. So 6-7 guys tonight really was and you're short. You're short on the bench because Graham and Minifield not playing, and then of course Brazil again, and then Musselman obviously by default is tightening his rotations, but a big win for Arkansas. I'm going to call it a big win. This time of year, when we say big win for the Razorbacks under Musselman, we're talking about making those next steps for postseason and how good can the resume be? How good can the seeding be? How good is a road win, a quad one road win for your resume? It's huge if you're playing for March, but it's also a sign that Arkansas's program didn't implode. They're in a direction right now where there's not an implosion. It's too soon to rule out potential blowout losses on the horizon, though. It just is because when it looks like they're turning the corner, they go and get blown out somewhere. Something bad happens, but they've been consistently better despite a couple of those kind of performances in their last 7 games. 5 other games, very competitive, tight games. Arkansas has gone 3-2 in those, and so when you started league play 1-5 with multiple blowouts. 1-5 in every game you lost, you were beaten by double digits, and the one win was against this A&M team by a point. What's happened since then is better. Again, fans don't want to hear it. Nobody's interested in this Arkansas team doing anything but playing in March. I understand that, but there were a lot of opportunities for this team to just give it up and get caved in every game, and that is a really bad look for your program moving forward. And so, for me now, Arkansas comes back home again. You got 2 opportunities to win at home. Any game you have an opportunity to win, but when you look at Mizzou, Arkansas handled Mizzou on the road. When you look at Vanderbilt, a team that's dangerous, wouldn't just chalk it up as a win, but those are winnable games for Arkansas. And the Razorbacks, in theory, could string together 3 consecutive wins. They've yet to string together 2 consecutive wins in league play. So again, there may be some positive turns here. The Arkansas more than ever controls its destiny to finish with a non-losing record. People can laugh at that, but that looks a little better than having a losing record when you're trying to get well in the offseason, whether it's recruiting, if you have a coaching change, which very well may be the case for Arkansas. The more and more I hear, the more and more that's a desire for a person who's not on the hot seat, the head coach. So we'll see if he's able to manifest that and what he wants. It may be that Eric Musselman's back at Arkansas next year. I would think that's because he wasn't able to conjure up what he wants. You just never know how this plays out. So you want to finish the season strong regardless. NIL is going to be a big part of it. I brought it up more recently in the last post-game podcast. The fact that Arkansas is not doing well in NIL relative to other SEC programs. Most of the league is what I'm told. I talked to a lot of different people that are connected directly into that part of it. And it's kind of the same tune everywhere I turned. And so there may be some folks out there pushing back on that, but from what I've got, that's an issue. So Arkansas is going to have to get better there. That's going to impact a coaching search if you have one, and it's certainly going to impact your recruiting in the portal and with high school players. Speaking of high school players, a head coach for the Oklahoma Sooners, Porter Moser, in Arkansas tonight for the Benton Lakeside game, 5A South. The Panthers had already locked that up. I don't even know the result. I just know that Porter Moser was there for that. The head coach for the Sooners in to watch. That's one of the teams that'll probably be a finalist for Terrion Burgess, who at 6'9", class of 2025, still has some ways to go before he makes any kind of announcement, because he's got to still take official visits. He still has a spring and summer on the grassroots circuit, but 6'9" combo forward out of Benton, a double machine, and a guy that's ranked top 40 in the country, 37th overall, 4-star. I don't think Musselman's been out to see one of these priority recruits in state during this basketball season at any point. I don't recall a game that he made. I know over the holidays when Arkansas came to Central Arkansas for that game against Lipscomb and North Little Rock, Arkansas had staff members out to see several of the players, including Burgess and Benton, but the head coach was not among them. I throw that in there just because when I look at a lot of different things, it just seems like the attention to some of the things that matter is somewhere else. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to, be a downer on a night when the Arkansas Razorbacks on the court had a big night and had a big win. But also tonight, but not that Musselman could be at this high school game tonight. He was coaching the Razorbacks. But you had a head coach from an SEC program now in the Oklahoma Sooners that has made a priority out of Terrion Burgess. I have felt for a while that Arkansas is in great shape there, but I think some other dynamics, obviously, that we've talked about are going to play out in shaping that. And so, that's just one little aspect of recruiting. And we know Arkansas has brought players in for the game experience at Bud Walton Arena. Arkansas won some of those, lost some of them. Missouri will be another opportunity on Saturday to bring recruits in. We'll see who comes in, who's there. So Arkansas's done that at minimum, invited recruits in on unofficial visits to come in and catch them on game days. That's not a full court press in recruiting, but we'll see. Again, Arkansas is really going to shift a lot of focus into the portal anyway here in a few weeks. But you've still got to cover those other bases with the high school kids. In fact, Arkansas's best teams have been, their best players have come straight out of high school. Maybe they weren't true freshmen immediately. Some were, obviously some were, but they were the high school recruits they got, and they've had a good balance of portal guys to help. But the best players, if you really boil it down, overall, have been from the high school ranks. So you got to continue to make that a priority. All right, so an hour and 10 minutes in, we've only been about 15 or so minutes post game. Most of it was, that last 10 minutes of this game. When you look at game clock, took almost an hour of real time to get through. And part of that was all the whistles and the fouls and the free throws. But, some of it also had to do with how A&M played the long game with the clock late. I mean, starting with about 2.5 minutes, did a really good job of getting dead balls, stopping the clock with fouls. And then Arkansas couldn't stop fouling. and it was a really long basketball game tonight. In fact, it's almost 9 o'clock. This game tipped at 6, and it's only been over for about 15 minutes. So that was one of your longer basketball games. But anyway, the Arkansas Razorbacks again on the road. This is a team now. Arkansas improves to 2-5 in true road games. All of those are in league play. So again, Arkansas has 2 more. Best they can do is 4-5 in league play. That's actually a respectable road record. Arkansas's biggest problems are not enough quad 1 wins, not enough quad 2 wins, not enough wins, period. Too many blowout losses. And you wish this Arkansas team that you saw tonight against Mississippi State had peeked its head above water more often in league play. But again, Arkansas forever, before guys started missing games in bulk, I don't think, again, Brazil's probably going to come back, but before you started seeing some of that, Musselman was, 11, 12, 13, sometimes 14 guys he'd play in both halves. And you'd see so many games where you had 8, 9 guys playing double-digit minutes. That just flies in the face of everything he's ever done. And they've only gotten to a point now, almost by default, I keep repeating that, where Musselman's had to been forced to drill it down because he didn't have enough. He didn't have a lot of available bodies. It seemed like at one point when Minifield was a non-scholarship walk-on and then was ruled eligible, Arkansas had, in effect 14 scholarship players. Almost a cheat code. I'm not saying anything was nefarious. I'm just saying that's how it played out. But lately it's been anything but that because of all the guys that have missed and continue to miss. I mean, Arkansas is shorthanded technically. Not that it's mattered a whole lot when they've had, like I said, all hands on deck. They weren't very good anyway. But, and some of the things I really like, Arkansas's done really well with the 2-man game. They go middle with Mitchell. Sometimes it's a shallow row. Sometimes he vacates baseline. Sometimes he'll go, when he goes shallow, he'll either stay middle or get to either side of the horn on the free throw line extended, and then work his way back to another screen or a roll. So you never know how Arkansas does that. And they flip some of the perimeter players sometimes on either side so that they just have 2 men on one side, get 3 guys on one side of the court, and they tilt it that way to create space and less help. And this is an Arkansas team that's not really explosive. They don't have explosive guys. Guys are going to finish above guys. And so you've got to create that space to try to get some because you don't have guys that can instinctively get it or naturally get it. And so Arkansas, I think, did a good job. They've done a good job of late, not only playing through McCobb, but just, how they move him around and then play off of that. Because a lot of it's reads after that initial screen. When he opens up and can be a receiver on a pass, where's he moving to? He moves to different places at times to keep the defenders honest, and Arkansas was able to take advantage of some of that. This is the best basketball I've seen of Mekhi Mitchell in his career. I'm sure it's better than anything he did before he got to Arkansas on a consistent basis, but you're seeing him do blue-collar stuff. He's been Arkansas's most physical player all year. When there's not been much physicality, he seems to be getting a little better with each game on playing that way because it wasn't always his forte. That was more of the other Twins game, Mikal, who's playing well for the Little Rock Trojans, who have been on a roll. The Mitchell twins are making statements as they close out their college careers. And then Tremont Mark, again, the 35-point game in the first meeting between these teams and the huge second half there, another big second half. He didn't get to 35, but he outplayed Wade Taylor the fourth. Arkansas, for the most part, did a good job against Radford again, even though he kind of carried the torch there with some late stuff. But Arkansas had a lead at those junctures and was holding on to 2-3 possession leads. Arkansas 2-0 against the Aggies. That represents 4 of their conference wins. In both games, Arkansas held double-digit leads and then kind of had to hang on. But you'd like to see Arkansas get the job done tonight. And not have to hit a shot at the buzzer or hope a shot at the buzzer didn't go in to beat them. All right, 1:15 in. We've covered a lot tonight. I'm probably going to wrap it up here. It's getting close to 9 o'clock. Not that late, not past my bedtime, but I've been blowing and going here for a while. But the Arkansas Razorbacks, before we say goodnight, we have to acknowledge the fact that this team's gone on the road for 2 back-to-back games, both quad 1 win opportunities after getting blown out at home against Tennessee, and has been in the fight both scenarios against really good offensive rebounding teams, physical teams, areas that Arkansas has not matched up well for the most part of the season. And yet you see Arkansas up for the fight, taking the fight at times to its opponent and finding ways to be competitive. And, think about it again. Arkansas was up 2 with a minute left at Mississippi State. Outscored 6-0, didn't execute in the final minute. But then to stay on the road and do this at A&M again. Arkansas hadn't won here since January of 2019. That's over 5 years ago, and that was again Mike Anderson's last season. So the Hogs find a way to keep themselves technically in position to not have a losing record in league play, although it seems unlikely with 5 to go, needing only one more loss, needing only three wins in these last 5 games, with three at home against teams that are beatable, to finish the regular season with a winning record, at least a game above 500 going to the SEC tournament. And at that point, you can't finish below 500 because even if you get bounced in your first game, you finish 500. So those things may not seem like they matter a lot, but if you're not going to the NCAA tournament, you want to you want to keep the damage at a minimum. But Arkansas goes on the road, knocks off A&M again. The Hogs 13-13 overall, 4-9 down in the SEC. Yuck, but they're playing better at least the last 2 games, and over the last 7 games, the arc of that: 5 competitive games, 3-2 in those, 2 blowout losses. The Razorbacks will be home against Mizzou on Saturday. Arkansas has a chance to now sweep that series. How weird is that? You could sweep series against 2 teams, and in doing so, on the back end of it, string together your first back-to-back wins in SEC play. Now that that would be 14 games in. It just sounds odd, but Arkansas has a chance for another season sweep against a not good Mizzou team still looking for its first win. But until Saturday, we'll definitely do. I think we're going to do another one of these where I come on fourth quarter / last 10 minutes, however you want to pronounce it. And then we'll roll right into postgame. But until then, see you then. Arkansas Razorbacks once again victorious at Texas A&M. Proof of life. It's not just a concept for the Hogs.